We are back with another episode about white guilt. Well, not directly, but you know what it is. Episode 4, The Big Payback.
I did not want to feel guilty.
I mean, some did, obviously, because, yeah, the white tears were overflowing this
Ooh,
episode. So this episode largely focuses on classism, the writings on the wall, and reparations. Yay! It's a one-off episode that follows our national treasure, Justin Bartha, who plays Marshall Johnson, a white man that works at Superior Shrimp. Typical office job, cubicle and everything. Nothing too exciting here. Very basic white man life. He gets his Starbucks, he steals Madeline cookies. The works. Very mundane type of life. Has a daughter. He's kind of like, well, amid a separation with his wife, so it's kind of, in a transition, I'll say.
he doesn't want to let go.
Well, he doesn't want to let go of a lot of things, apparently.
Yeah, that is also true.
The episode kicks off with a lawsuit, kind of calling back to the whole Tesla discrimination case, which more coming up, which is wild. But yeah, basically, wealthy rich businessman versus a black man who is owed money for the enslavement of his ancestors. As you can imagine, that inspires others within the community of we, the blacks, to take the similar action because he's successful and wins his case against said businessman. Everybody's in panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
When I say everybody, I mean white people are in panic mode. They're very. Their souls are crushed.
I would say some because our main character did not want to believe it.
Yeah, some came to terms with it. Some were in disbelief. Some were looking up their ancestry, trying to make sure that they could claim other. And when I say other, you know exactly what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And what some of them love claiming. Oh, my people were slaves, and every other type of sympathetic trauma situation in history that they love to sprinkle on top to basically feel like they belong in like a minority group. But yeah, it was wild. Some just threw their hands up, angry about it. They couldn't really do much about it because it's, legal proceedings. Some were crying on the curb, hard.
With all their belongings.
So Marshall sees all of this and it's just
Denial.
like, I don't know what's going on. This is weird. This is what is happening. This isn't supposed to be like what we're used to. It's straight up denial. I don't even know what the hell that was. It was just, yeah. Typically, when you're privileged, any sort of equality comes off as oppression. So you feel like you're under attack and under siege because they shouldn't be. What did he say specifically? Now he's gonna have a decent life, basically.
Yeah.
What? He can't have a quality life? Like, what is happening? And by no means was this gonna make you poor, but okay, guys, all right.
No, it was gonna make him poor. At least that's what he thought. That's what all these people thought.
Well, yeah, depending on what people ask for, because some people just ask for you wearing a shirt that said I own slaves 2 days a week, once on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say everybody wasn't in a position to ask for money. They just wanted some sort of reparation. So Marshall's at home with his daughter, and Shaniqua Johnson pulls up of the St. Louis Johnsons. She wants him to run her money. Like, she is owed $3 million.
Three.
I don't even know if they came up with the number,
I
or
don't think she did.
she just looked around the house and was like,
Yeah,
"That's
she
about
she
3 million."
literally just guesstimated 12 years equals 3 million, and you're like, wait
That
a
was
minute, wait
funny.
a minute. That math don't even add up to me.
Like, can I have that
I
calculator?
mean, that would be very, very nice, but 3 million?
It's at this point where he's just like, straight turmoil. Things just quickly begin to unravel and fall apart within his life. One after the other, he can't really catch a break. He's seriously going through it because he's kind of at, I don't even want to say a crossroads to make a decision. He himself was more so thinking of not necessarily how to get out of paying it or whether he should pay the money or not pay the money, I'll say.
But he also tried to justify getting out of it because he's,
White.
what is it, Austrian Hungary?
Hmm.
Austria. His people were also enslaved.
Yeah, they were enslaved too. And slavery was so long ago. So, I mean, did it really matter?
Like he said, should I go to Hungary and ask for money? No, that would be ridiculous, right?
No,
I mean, they enslaved us.
absolutely. I mean, if you can actually trace back and, are of those people, you might be lucky you can get dual citizenship. But other than that, I don't feel like they owe you anything, white man.
That's always getting a little social commentary. That's always the case. Well, my people were this, that, and the other. Your people not the same as my people.
Hmm.
Stop comparing your white life to the black people's life. It's not the same.
Not at all.
No movement is the same as blacks.
When people start to play struggle Olympics, that's when it gets very weird and strange. But they're very quick to say, it was so long ago.
It really wasn't.
But it wasn't, though. Those effects are still felt today.
Oh
That's the
my,
problem. When you don't have equity within a community, it's not going to ever be equal. And I hate saying equality because that's like a dream. That's not going to happen.
that's never gonna happen. And everybody and their mama who actually is a real thinker knows that that's never gonna happen.
Pretty much. For me, more so, what I like to say or think of is socioeconomic equity, not equality, equity, because everybody's already at different levels. There's literally levels to this. And providing said benefits or incentives for some where they're at, I feel like would be more effective in balancing the system. But a rebalance and shift within society, and it's kind of lessening the struggle and burden. See dudes at the gas station with Lambos. They're so like everybody's so relaxed,
Getting that Apollo cheese.
but obviously collecting and everything. Even the black people at his job didn't show up to work. Lester pulled up just to laugh at them.
Yo, Walter, and him just laughing like when the girl said, "How am I pure Nordic?" And he walks past and starts laughing, and she's like, "This applies to all of us, Walter." No, it don't, Ashley.
Girl, it's funny because when this is happening, they're losing their minds and everybody else is just chilling,
That was the best part to see. Every time you see black people, they was always laughing, high fiving, just having a good time.
living.
You see a white person, and they literally, how do I live in a world where I have to give back?
Shambles. It's like lessening the struggle and burden of their racial socioeconomic air that plagued the existence for centuries. It's just, I don't even want to say you deserve this, but I didn't feel bad for them throughout the episode. I didn't care. I
Hmm.
didn't feel like, man, that's messed up. Oh, how is he going to come up with the money? I said, well, you better pay what you owe.
I really couldn't feel bad for anybody. Even the main character, it was kind of like, okay, do you want me to cry? You've been living comfortably.
Yeah. And comfortable is not necessarily like living lavishly,
Yeah,
just, not having to worry about stuff.
literally. Not having a care in the world, which is how, regardless if it's built off the back of our ancestors or not, which 100% of the time it is,
Hmm.
this is how you live. And yeah, now you're a little uncomfortable because people are saying, listen, give me what I'm owed, give me what I'm worth, which is a good way to explain. Our people was asking for what they are worth. It's past being old. This is my worth. This is who I am. This is who my ancestors are. Forget how much you owe me. Give me what I'm worth.
That part.
Shaniqua took it upon herself to, again, get what she's worth and pretty much got the man's home. He went to the house, seeing everybody that was a part of her family standing outside, barbecuing, chilling, having a good time.
Playing Keith Sweat.
He tries to hurry up and turn around, and one of her family members starts booking it out to the.
Jason was out of there.
Yo, this kid was built like the T-1000 from. He was fast. It was literally like watching Terminator 2.
It made me think of that. Obviously, Get Out. And then I was like, yo, he's faster than Uncle Willie. He is booking it down the street.
Girl,
Man took his shoes off and was like, I already knew what time it was when he took the slides off. I was like, yeah, he about to be out of there.
yo, I'm pretty sure that dude was running at a good 15, 16, 17 miles an hour.
Because he was trying to floor it in that Prius.
That was such a good scene. It was such a good scene. Watching him panic and trying to figure
That
out
was
how is this
hilarious.
boy so fast? That was great.
Get him, Jason. He ends up at a small hotel where he meets A character we've seen before. Lake Lanier Man, aka White Ern, or well, White Ernest. He comes back. Nice callback there. Because his speech was so powerful and poignant before we had to, get some game again. Because Marshall, I don't want to say expresses his disdain, but he still is kind of conflicted on whether what he should do, on what his decision
He's
is.
still very why me.
Yeah, because he feels like, well, I didn't play a part in what they did. It wasn't me
Mm-hmm.
taking part of the racism or any of the slavery in the day, so why should I have to bear the brunt of that? More excuses, more, but not me. It was them, and he's more so worried about like his daughter's future, just in case of him shelling out this money that he really didn't have. He agrees that slavery was bad. Eventually, he gets there. It takes him a while, but
It takes him a long while.
it was so long ago, still rings true in his head. After having that talk with Ernest, essentially breaks it down to him. Gives him a lot of quotables, but one of them that stood out to me was, "It is a cruel, unavoidable ghost that haunts in a way we cannot see. None of us are perfect." Which is true. I mean, they tend to ignore stuff when it comes to us, but we're all affected by the strife and or wins of another group, whether directly or indirectly, despite some individuals' efforts to hide behind the ignorance of not knowing or wanting to know, or those that feel they operate on like on a totally different plane. Not necessarily that they're above it all, but they consider themselves other. And then you just have some who are just neutral and completely are on standby. Despite whatever spectrum you fall under, it's kind of better to be informed at minimum rather than playing that ignorance and feigning, I had no idea. Or the excuse of it being so long ago that, it shouldn't be affecting people, but it does.
Oh my goodness. That's what made me love this speech by Ernest so much.
White Ernest.
Just him breaking it down, him explaining how to white people it was almost something where today, if we don't look it up, then it doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, because they like pretending it didn't happen. So that's very equivalent to that. No, it's not overt, but when you're not acknowledging something, what is that doing?
And then him going into they take away your family, take away your daughter, take away your wife. Now she has to raise herself up in a certain way, pull herself up by her bootstraps, and get things done by herself. And then just for him to end it with, isn't that what we did to them? I was like, oh, that right there. That right there is so good. Like White Earn being like this high-minded entity that just keeps trying to show people, well, these people the error of their ways and how you can't run away from what's been in your face for over 400 years. I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
was talking to G and I was saying the fact that they put it to where y'all not gonna listen to black people. We've been saying this over and over again. We just gonna talk till we blue in the face. So how about your own people tell you what it's like? How about your own people tell you what it is?
Yeah.
And I love that.
Even though personally I believe you should be listening to black people anyway, but you don't.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if he has to be the messenger for some people to get it, sure.
I get it completely. You know how I see it? I see it like every y'all always want the great white hope.
Oh my god.
Am I lying? The Great White Help is telling you the truth. Now you conflicted. Now you don't. Well, should I be listening to him or should I not? That's why I love this character so much. That's why I love this character so much.
But yeah, hopefully people actually were listening to what he was saying though. But yeah, Marshall, he eventually gets it. It goes through his head finally. Like his fall from Madeleines to basic chocolate chunk cookies
That
was
was hilarious.
apparent, and he's just like, "Well, I guess I got to do it." Stolen Madeleines, mind you, because he did not pay for those cookies. That's probably why that unmarked tourist was following him around. So Ern excuses himself, goes out for a smoke, or what we perceive as a smoke, and unfortunately offs himself because yeah, pressures, white guilt, a mixture of all of the happenings and goings on of what is going on in this realm. So yeah, imagine surviving Lake Lanier only to fall due to reparations. It's crazy.
You know what I just thought about? How in the first episode with this character. It was assumed that the world is so bad, the only thing that we can do for these children is kill them because the world is so terrible for black people. Just to bring it around to say, we made the world so bad, the only way that we can deal with this is to off ourselves. I literally just picked up on that.
I mean, yeah, and this is a real thing that happened. Do you know how crazy it was when, well, quote unquote, slavery was abolished? Because, yeah. But it was a wild time. If you are into history, I
Girl.
implore you to look into what white slave owners were doing and what systems were built off of slavery being somewhat over, quote unquote. Do some homework, y'all. Marshall ended up being a server in a pretty, I would say, mid to high range restaurant, but he didn't look like he was having a bad time. He looked like he finally fully came to terms with everything that was going on and still had to break Shaniqua Johnson off with 15% restitution off his paycheck because yeah, she wanted her money and she wanted it now.
It ended on a good note. I mean, it was just a bunch of rich black folks getting served by a bunch of white folks. So
Eating good. This was a time. This was a good episode. Again, I know some people were complaining, oh my god, the main characters aren't in the episode. Shut up. They don't have to be an episode every week for it to be quality TV. Like, come on, son. Grow up.
oh yeah, most definitely.
You're clearly not seeing the bigger picture here with this episode and the themes of this overall season already. Like, this was, and I will say the episode order so far is on point too.
It literally came in hot and has not stopped picking up steam.
Yeah, I don't feel like we've had a filler episode to where I was just like, man, this is boring. Or like, yo, what is this? Or if you're saying what is this, it's in a good way.
Yeah, it's such a good back and forth because everything connects. Nothing ever feels like, oh, it's just out there. Literally every episode connects with the next one, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool. I love
And
it.
it's like original content. Yeah, we've seen these themes in other shows in pop culture. And the way that Francesca Sloan wrote about it, it was good. She's a good writer. So this episode basically solidified that.
So good. Such a good episode.
Oh, well, you'll hear from us same time next week. But this was a great episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it, whether you'd like reparations or not.
Are you against the reparations?
Exactly. Well, I don't see why not, but I don't know. Some people may have a difference in opinion.
It ended really well on a high note. I liked it.